You thought Star-Lord was erased? So did Thanos' enemies.
Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of S.H.Figuarts Star-Lord from Avengers Infinity War. Just real quick to start it off, here's the box. I just wanted to highlight it because it has a nice picture of Chris Pratt on the front. Mainly, I wanted to highlight it because sometimes it's back and forth whether they use an actual photo of the actor when they do a humanoid figure art or they use like a weird stock shot of the figure, but they used a nice shot of him here. It's a nice box. It fits in with like kind of the general color scheme and then just is blurry because the camera just wants to focus on Burt Macklin, FBI back there instead of the box. Your typical, fare, you got like picture on the side, name on the side, continuation there, and then on the back it shows you the stuff you can do with it. But we'll set it aside so it doesn't steal focus. As for what he comes with, you can see he's got his two blaster weapons on the side there, which we'll take a closer look at here in just a second. There's really not a whole lot he comes with. He just comes with 3 pairs of hands, not even worth like, closing up on. They just have the standard closed Figuarts hands, the closed fists, holding the weapon hands, which he obviously has on him right now, and then just kind of some generic open hands. Really all he needs. There's like a small, like nitpicky part of me that kind of wants a hand that looks like he would be pressing the button on the thing behind his ear to, put his helmet on, but you can't even see the little thing behind his ear. But I was just trying to think of like unique hands that he could have had, because sometimes Figuarts will have a hand or set of hands that's unique to something the character does. You have his swappable helmet for when he actually has his helmet on, and we'll show how to swap that out in a minute. There's not really a whole lot else that he needs. Just to take a look at the figure itself, honestly, it's a pretty solid figure. I'm pretty happy with it. The head sculpt especially is pretty well done. I mean, honestly, that's almost scary how much it captures Chris Pratt. Like, just, I'm looking at it through the camera, and I can't look at it in person because it's honestly too much. But, it's really well done. I think they did an excellent job on it. It would have been kind of neat to maybe get some alternate faces for different facial expressions, but this one just kind of sums it up, I get my S.H.Figuarts Burt Macklin, and, the Marvel Legends Ant-Man has a Paul Rudd head. I think it would be great if the new Ant-Man figure art came with it, but I don't think it did, because then we could have full-on, like, almost Parks and Rec figure arts. But yeah, very good job on the head sculpt. The paint and the sculpt on the jacket looks good. It looks very accurate. As always, something Figuarts is pretty good at is getting that good cloth look. It's made of a nice sort of sturdy but flexible material. Like all the details on him are very well done. I really don't have any problems with it. You even got kind of like this worn look here on the back. But yeah, really good job on the details. No problems there. As you can see, you have the blasters here, which are also pretty well done. Luckily, they're pretty basic, so there's like not a whole lot you could do to mess them up. Like you just have a couple different colors, just, make them look as accurate as possible, and you're all set. Articulation-wise, if you're familiar with Figuarts, pretty much par for the course. Ball joint right here. You got your swiveling. You got your double elbow joint. You got your swiveling here at the fists. Nice leg joint here with the swiveling, and double knee joint there. And you got some range of motion on the foot. Nice little toe joint there. It's a little bit more stiff than some of the other ones. So it takes a little bit more to get it going, but the other ones are fairly easy to maneuver. Chest and waist articulation, head and neck articulation. Sorry, I was getting a little blurry there for a second. I really don't have any loose joint problems. Like when I'm moving these around, I don't feel like they are loose or going to become loose, because there's kind of stages. There's like regular, well, this guy's like regular, and then above it is like super tight where it feels super high quality and it doesn't feel like it's going to become loose at any time. And then I said this guy's regular. Then there's like not loose, but it feels like, okay, they're going to become loose in the near future. And then there's like loose where you like do this and they're flying forward. That's pretty rare unless it's a figure art you've owned a while. But no problems like that. It's fairly solid. It doesn't have the, oh my god, this is so worth the money figure arts feel, which I don't know if anyone understands what I'm talking about that when I mention it in figure arts reviews, but there's certain figure arts you get, and I don't know if it's the metal feet or the quality, but you just feel like, yeah, this was worth the money. It doesn't quite have that feel, but it's a solid figure, make no mistake. No loose joint problems. My only real problems with the mold are, you do get a little bit of that discrepancy right here when you do that, which is kind of unavoidable, but it's pretty easy to shift around, It's not a huge, deal, where I would be like, okay, this gap right here means you shouldn't pick it up even if you really want it. It is a little bit annoying, especially in something like this, where it's harder to fix because it's more noticeable, but I wouldn't say it's a huge deal breaker if you have your heart set on it. The only other thing which I don't want to demonstrate is, when I was getting this guy out of the box, he actually became separated here between the legs and the torso, and it's kind of hard to, not hard to snap it back in, but because you basically have to get these underwear piece over this piece enough, otherwise you you get this part where you're putting it together and this will fold down and you can't get it to click. So I had a hard time getting that to stay in. I'm not sure if that's a problem. It hasn't been loose since, but just watch out for that. I felt it was worth noting. Switching out the head's fairly easy. You just pop that off and, you know, snap his helmet back on, and it's really easy. One of the easier ones to do. Sometimes they can be a little bit more difficult to do and to work with, and to get the ball joint lined up with the peg on the head, but I like to keep the Burt Macklin head on just because it's so accurate. But yeah, overall, solid figure. Last thing I wanted to do here, he's like in a really weird pose now. It's going to be just kind of a super awkward, kind of like I'm casual, but I don't know what to do with my hands pose. Just to show you, I don't have the most current one, but this is a comparison for like the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy figure. This is from the original movie. As you can see, let's zoom in right here. The head sculpt, the difference is kind of amazing. Like, if you're going for head sculpt, definitely go for this. The head sculpt for this one was pretty weak. However, I have to say, I do not own the current Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 figure. I can't remember if they're doing one for Infinity War or not, but there is one out for Volume 2. And the head sculpt on that one is honestly solid. So that's what I wanted to say here at the end was, if you're on a budget, or even if you're not, but you just want to save money, I can honestly say that I think that picking up the Marvel Legends one for like almost 1/3 the price with a pretty solid head sculpt is worth it. You do get some benefits with the figure art. You know, they do tend to be a little more detailed, a little bit more range of articulation, but if, you know, you want to save money, I can say that even though this is a nice figure and if you have your heart set on it, there's nothing that I can really say about it that would be like, yeah, don't pick this up, it's not worth it because of this. It's a solid figure, and if you have your heart set on it, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm not hugely disappointed. I'm not wowed, but I'm not disappointed. But my point is if you want to save some money one way or the other, the Marvel Legends head sculpts have gotten pretty good, and if you don't mind having a little bit less articulation and a little bit less choices in some areas, it's kind of worth it. Just to throw out an example, I recently bought the Volume 2 Rocket figure, which is honestly pretty nice. It retails for 20 bucks, I got it for about 17, and there's going to be a full-on $60 to $80 Rocket figure art, which will give me more options, but considering it's 1/3 to 1/4 of the price, that honestly is fine with me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get at here. If you want a cheaper way, go for the Marvel Legends, but this is still a solid figure. Hopefully that last 3 minutes of just rambling made sense. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Dawson Ryder, signing out.